and swooped, playing in the compound and watching the yam tendrils crawl up their supporting sticks, the silk of corn drying up as it ripened, the swelling and patched yellowing of the mangoes before they fell. Saachi would sit and watch Saul fill 2 buckets with those mangoes and bring them to her. She ate them all the way from their skins through their wet flesh to her teeth scraping like dry bone against the seeds. Then she made mango jam, mango juice, mango everything. She ate 10 to 20 of them each day, and then a few of the large avocados, slicing those around the pit and scooping their butter down her throat. And so our fetus body was fed, and we visited, and when we were tired of their world, we left for our own. Back then we were still free. It was nothing to slip away along the bitter streams of chalk. In those Queen Elizabeth days, their taxi driver was a man who plastered the inside of his car with a slogan, "No shortcuts to success." The same words, growing thick as stickers piled on one another, some peeling and others glistening new. Every day, Saachi left her little boy Chima at home with his nanny, and the taxi driver would take her from the compound to Saul's clinic in the interior of the village. That morning, the day we died and were born, her labor started as they drove down the twisting red roads. The driver spun the wheel around, following her gasped orders, and took her to Aloma Hospital instead. As her body called to us and wrung itself out, all Saachi could focus on were those stickers, swarming around the seat, reminding her that the short way did not exist. Meanwhile, we were wrenched, dragged through the gates, across a river, and through the back door of the thin woman's womb, thrust into the rippling water and the small sleeping body floating within. It was time. When the fetus had been housed, we were allowed freedom, but it was going to be alone. No longer flesh within a house, but a house itself, and we were the one meant to live in it. We were used to the warm thuds of 2 heartbeats separated by walls of flesh and liquid, used to the option of leaving, of returning to the place we came from, free like spirits are meant to be. To be singled out and locked into the blurred consciousness of a little mind, we refused. It would be madness. The thin woman's body was prone to quick labors. The boy, the first child, had been born in an hour, and a year after we were born, the 3rd child would take only 2. We, the middle, held the body against a pull for 6. No shortcuts. It was the 6th day of the 6th month. Eventually, the doctor slid a needle into Saachi and fed her from a drip, fighting our resistance with drugs, expelling the body that was becoming ours. And so we were trapped by this unfamiliar birthing, this abomination of the fleshly, and this is how we ended up here. We came from somewhere. Everything does. When the transition is made from spirit to flesh, the gates are meant to be closed. It's a kindness. It would be cruel not to. Perhaps the gods forgot. They can be absent-minded like that. Not maliciously, at least not usually. But these are gods after all, and they don't care about what happens to flesh, mostly because it is so slow and boring, unfamiliar and coarse. They don't pay much attention to it, except when it is collected, organized and sold. By the time she, our body, struggled out into the world, slick and louder than a village of storms, the gates were left open. We should have been anchored in her by then, asleep inside her membranes and synced with her mind. That would have been the safest way. But since the gates were open, not closed against remembrance, we became confused. We were at once old and newborn. We were her and yet not. We were not conscious, but we were alive. In fact, the main problem was that we were a distinct we instead of being fully and just her. So there she was, a fat baby with thick, wet black hair. And there we were, infants in this world.